I'm in the corner of opening address, my best of the day on Melbourne Cup Day.
Opening address at the 100 metres, still clear though from Cicchetti, Lavalier, Statuario, and opening address, hands and heels, won it by a length.
It was out of him and Cloudland. I've got units on both of them.
Cloudland clear, Cloudland punched out, hands and heels will win it by 3/4 of a length. Second, Riot and Rose.
And welcome to my Oaks Day preview. We're halfway through the Cup Carnival at Flemington. Oaks Day's on Thursday. It's a massive card. A good profit on Cup Day as well as Derby Day on Saturday. So hopefully I can keep that rolling into Oaks Day and we can make even more moolah. Race 1 is a fillies and mares benchmark 70 for the 3 and 4 year olds over the 1700 metres. Changing colours for Waller and McDonald is the favourite at $2.25 ahead of Bond Mistress, the last start winner who beat Changing Colours last start at $6.50. Grey Ice is at $8.50 and then longer odds the rest. We're going to take a look at the last start run of Call Me an Icon. It's currently at $10. This was its run second at Flemington behind a horse called Hurricane, who's since went out and started favourite in the Group 2 Herbert Power Stakes. So I like that form line. I was with it first up when it won at Pakenham on the synthetic track very impressively, defeating some of the race fit horses. Then it went to Sandown on a Wednesday and won. Then went to Flemington and was obviously second behind Hurricane. But it's had 6 or 7 weeks in between runs. Whether it's had a minor setback, that's the sort of little query I have with this horse on the amount of time it's had between runs. But if it's at its best, it's good enough to win. From gate 2 should get a good map. I'm happy to be with it. In for second, Changing Colours. I know it got beaten by Bond Mistress last start, but it gets a little weight swing on that horse, and the pattern wasn't to suit in its favour that day. Swai Show from Adelaide has won 2 on the bounce. Todd Pannell travels over to Melbourne to ride this horse. Should go to the front and look the goods at one stage. And then Bell Inferno from gate 9 probably has to go back, but it'll be charging home. I think it's a good roughie. To start Oaks Day, I'm with Call Me an Icon. Race 2 is the listed Century Stakes over the 1,000 metres. The favourite is Oscar's Fortune at $3.80 ahead of Kalos, who's at $3.90. The toppy, $4 about for recommendation, $9 for Spacewalk, and longer odds the rest. This was the last start jump out of Gaza Blanca. This is probably one of my roughies on top for the day. Now, it's been gelded heading into this preparation, which is the first thing that caught my eye. The second thing that caught my eye is that it ran against Spacewalk last year during Cup Week in the Rising Fast over Group 3, at Group 3 level, and only finished 2 lengths off Spacewalk, and it pulled up lame after that race, so it definitely could have run a bit better. And I think that gelding operation has worked wonders because it looked to travel really nicely, just doing it easy in its most recent jump out. The 1,000 metres is interesting placement for me. This horse has never won first up from 3 starts, but I think Kieran Maher's going to try and keep this horse to a sprinter. Hopefully he can do what Jimmy Star did when he was first up and just be too sharp for them. From gate 3, it's not an ideal gate down the straight, but it should get some nice cover, and I think it's over the odds. In for second, Oscar's Fortune. This horse is now trained by Gavin Bedgegood, which is interesting. He usually improves horses, so that caught my eye. Back to 1,000 metres is good. Minor query, first time down the straight. Spacewalk is off the 5-day backup, so it has to be considered. It's got good form. And then in there for fourth, I've got Kalos. I was with it last start in the Scalacci Stakes. It was very unlucky not to win, and it should be running well. But Gaza Blanca for me at a price. Race 3 is a benchmark 80 over the 2,000 metres. Almarise is the favourite at $4.50. La Zebra is on the second line of betting. It's at $6.50. Moto Race from Adelaide is at $8.50. Longer odds the rest. This was the last start run of both Almarise and Bulawayo at Maui last start in this benchmark 70 race over the 2050. Now, Almarise, this was on a soft 7. I don't think Almarise was suited by the track conditions. I don't think it goes on soft. But the fact that it still managed to win really caught my attention as a black booker to follow next start. It's 2 from 2 at the 2,000 metres. It's proven at Flemington, where it ran second in the St. Ledger behind Ahuriri, who ran in the benchmark 96 today on Cup Day. Draws gate 5 for a perfect run on speed. Luke Nolan retains the ride. Third up peaking. I'm happy to have one unit the win on Almarise. I've also got, I haven't got any units on Bull Away, but I think it's a good roughie. Gets a massive weight swing on Almaraz, a 4 kilo weight swing. The only reason I think Almaraz will still finish ahead of Bull Away is the map and the fact that Almaraz is getting back on a firmer surface and peaking third up compared to Bull Away fifth up. But I still think it's a good roughie. We'll be flying home from the back as I try and remember who I've got in for third and fourth. I think I've got Moto Race in there somewhere. Flaming Romans, I think, actually. Flaming Romans, good last start winner at Caulfield, beating Mr. Kipchoge. Before that, it was just beaten by Whiskey on the Hill, who started single figures for that Benchmark 96 race today. Has to carry the top weight, but it's the classy horse in the field. And Moto Race has 1-2 on the bounce. Todd Panel travels over to Melbourne, as I've already said, for a couple of horses now. And it looks to get a good run on speed from gate 2. Almaraz for me, the up-and-comer in race 3. Race 4 is the Inglis Bracelet over the 1600 metres for the fillies and mares. We've got equal favourites at $4.20, Perfect and Running By. Then you've got out to $4.80 for Roots, $5 about for Molly Knickers, $7.50 for So Glamorous, then out to $9.50 for Second to None. Longer odds the rest, Molly Knickers and also So Glamorous come out of this last start run at Caulfield, the Tristark. Now, Molly Knickers really caught my eye here in the fact that it was third up on this occasion and it weaved through the field quite well to finish a nice fourth. Now it's fourth up to the 1600 metres. Blinkers go on. I just think it's ready to win on Thursday, and it's ended up being my best of the day. Molly Knickers on a very even card. I've got one unit to win on it. Looks to get a good map from gate 4 and to be running well. In for second, I've got So Glamorous, who also ran in that race. Draws gate 1, so can settle closer in the run. Damien Lane goes back on. I think it has to be considered. In for third, I've got Second to None. This horse was all right in the JRA Cup, but I think back to the 1600 metres and back against the fillies and mares will improve. And then Running By, it looks to get a good map from gate 6, but it's had some time in between runs, so that's a minor query. But I like Molly Knickers in race 4. I think Thursday's a day where it can get back on the winners list. Race 5 is a benchmark 90 over the 1800 metres. Verdad is the favourite at $2.60 ahead of Saban at $5.50. Mara Court also over from Adelaide is at $9. Longer odds the rest. One and a bit of a price for me in this race. Savoir Faire. This was its first up run at Moe in a benchmark 78 over 1600 metres behind Nation's Call and Presser. Now, Savoir Faire settled on the leaders' backs, peeled off, and just couldn't sprint with them. It's a horse that needs further, which it gets here in the 1800 metres. Now, when you look at its record, you think it's a far superior wet tracker, which it won't get on Thursday. However, when you go back and look at its good track runs, they actually stand up pretty well when you just go back and watch the replays. It needs a bit of luck from gate 12. It's never 1 second up, which is why it's probably paying $14 or whatever it is at the moment. But I think it's good enough to win. It's a good enough horse. And if it gets luck in running, I think it'll be competitive. I've got Savoir Faire on top. I only had it in front of Verdad for 2 reasons. One, because it was paying double figures, and the other one because Verdad has run second 4 times in a row, and I've had it for 3 of those 4 times. J-Mac goes on, which is a big plus. Gate 8 will get a nice flowing run around midfield, and it could be the day on Thursday. I've got 1 unit to win on Verdad, also as well as 0.25 units to win on Savoir Faire. I think hopefully one of those 2 horses can win, and then I've got 2 lightweights down the bottom in for third and fourth, I should say. Saban, Craig Williams goes on from gate 11, will be off midfield and be charging home. Forget last start, I think it was a bit flat third up, it'll be ready. And Hill Rip, I think is over the odds, was a decent last start run at Geelong in a benchmark 70, and it drops in weight from that performance. It should be running well. But for me, Savoir Faire at a price, but I think Verdad could be back to winning ways. Race 6 is a benchmark 80 over the 1600 metres. O2 Good is the favourite at $3.60 ahead of Wilmot. Second favourite at $9. Equal third favourites are Kahoff and also Hiam Proud at $9.50. Longer odds the rest. O2 Good and Hiam Proud come out of this run at Geelong on Geelong Cup Day. This was in a benchmark 70, I believe, over the 1500 metres. Now, O2 Good wins this race by a length a length and 3/4, and it did it very impressively. But off the back of this run, Hiam Proud gets a 2.5 kilo weight swing on O2 Good, which is probably enough to put them almost level with each other. But in this run, what you don't see is He I'm Proud travelling 3 wide no cover throughout. So I think He I'm Proud can turn the tables on the favourite 0-2 Good, and the only reason that stopped me having from units on it is that it's drawn gate 19. It's going to have to get right back to probably last, and that's against its usual racing pattern, but I think it's good enough to win. It's only had 5 starts. It's been tested interstate in its recent times, so I think the Matt Laurie stable have a high opinion of this horse, and it can be doing something on Thursday. 0-2 Good in for second, comes through that form line, is a very good horse, 3 from 5 in its career. Damien Lane, 2 starts for 2 wins on the horse. It's going really well. Wilmot in there for third. I think Blake Shin going on will enhance this horse's performance. Gate 5 will get a cozy run, and then in for fourth, Valois, the toppy, is a classy horse in the race. Draws gate 8, will be flying home from the back. He I'm Proud for me in the first leg of the quaddie. Race 7 is the Group 3 Red Roses Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies over the 1100 metres. We've got equal favourites at $7. It's an open race, both Bold Bastille and I Found Jura at $7. We've got out to $8 for Seascape and also Amelita. $8.50 about for Vestas, and longer odds the rest. I'm with a roughie in this race. His name is Caravas, and this was its last start run at Murray Bridge, where it ran second in a $55,000 3-year-old benchmark 64. Now, obviously, that's a step up in class to what it faces on Thursday, but it's against its own sex, 3-year-old fillies, which last preparation, it ran second in the Group 3 David Coles behind Flyer, ran fourth in the Breeders' Stakes behind Growing Empire. It won the Ottawa Stakes, but ended up getting disqualified back in spring of last year, so it's proven down the straight. It's drawn gate 5, which isn't ideal down the straight in this big field, but I think it'll get a cozy run, and Craig Williams will know what to do. Follows a similar path to what H2O did to win this race 2 years ago. It had 1 start, first up in Adelaide, then came over to Victoria and won the Red Roses at a bit of a price. So I'm hoping Caravas can repeat the dose. I've got 0.25 units on her to do so. I also like Clinton McDonald's first starter, Vestas. It actually came out on top in my algorithm, but I overrided, if that's a word, the algorithm by putting the profiling horse, follows a similar profile to H2O, on top of Vestas, but it was a good winner at Cranbourne. Looks to be going places. Ben Mellon retains the ride. First time down the straight, minor query, but I think it's in with a good chance. In for third, I think I've got Seascape, if I'm not mistaken. Gate 16 is good down the straight. It's been running up behind Extremely Hardies. Has had form around Killcare Beach Girl. So it'll be running well. And then in there for fourth, if I try and remember who I've got, I think I've got She's Got Pizzazz. Blake Shin rides this horse. Good last start maiden winner at Kilmore. And it's drawn well down the straight in gate 18. Caravas for me ahead of Vestas in the Red Roses. Race 8 is the Group 1 Crown Oaks for the 3-year-old fillies over the 2,500 metres. The favourite is the Wakeful winner, Treasure the Moment at $3 ahead of Powers of Opal at $3.70. Harlem Queen is at $7. Then you've got out to $9 for Too Darn Discreet, and longer odds the rest. We're going to take a look at the Wakeful as a last start form reference. Treasure the Moment, very good winning on this day. By about a length and 3/4 on Powers of Opal. I thought it was a good win because it was standing in the gates for a long time when Jamie Carr got whacked in the head by Hurry Curry, and Powers of Opal was walking around. Powers of Opal went in later than Treasure the Moment and still couldn't run it down. However, even though out of Treasure the Moment, Powers of Opal and Talisay, Treasure the Moment had the best last 200 metres of that Wakeful, but after the line, I thought, in my opinion, Powers of Opal was doing the better work, and I just think from gate 9 compared to Treasure the Moment, gate 12, it can turn the tables. James McDonald sticks with it. The SP last start heavily favours Powers of Opal. I think we're getting a nice flying run. It wasn't really sent down to just win the Wakeful. It was sent down to target the Oaks, and it is now running in the Oaks, and I think it can win. Head of Treasure the Moment, who's very close second. In for third, Talisay, was only, I think it had the same last 200 metre sectional split as Powers of Opal, so I think it can sneak into a minor placing. I've already had something each way. I think it's way over the odds. And then in there for fourth, Harlem Queen, comes down from Sydney, where last start only finished 2 lengths off El Costello. That's good form. Gate 5, a good gate for Blake Shin. Powers of Opal for me to turn the tables on Treasure the Moment. And race 9 to finish the day is the listed Chested Manifold Stakes over the 1600 metres. Poison Chalice is the $3.50 favourite ahead of Light Infantryman, who is at $5.50. Globe also at $5.50, and longer odds the rest of them. Now, Poison Chalice and Light Infantryman both come through the Crystal Mile at the Valley, won by Plenty of Ammo. They were both as luckless as each other. They both started similar SPs on this occasion, and I think they both carried the same weight. 57 kilos was Light Infantryman, 57 kilos was Poison Chalice. Yet they both carried the same weight. But now Poison Chalice gets a 4.5 kilo weight swing on Light Infantryman off that Crystal Mile. And because they both started the similar SP, I think I have to favour Poison Chalice. As well as that, Poison Chalice is now third up, peaking compared to Light Infantryman, who's fourth up. Still fourth up's good stage of prep, but third up, I think Poison Chalice is ready to improve more than Light Infantryman. The only thing that would favour me having Light Infantryman ahead of Poison Chalice is the map. Poison Chalice has drawn gate 13 compared to Light Infantryman gate 4. Light Infantryman should get a better run in transit than Poison Chalice. But Damien Lane's on, and hopefully the fence is off by that stage of the day. It can come charging down the outside. Them two on top for me. I've got a bit of a roughie in there for third. Wascally. Smiley Chan combines with Jal Morera. This horse had some form behind Hurricane and Call Me an Icon 2 starts ago. With the lightweight, should be charging home down the outside. And then in there for fourth, I've got Banker's Choice. This horse is really good form. Ran in the Group 1 Turnbull last start. Blake Shin goes back on this horse, gate 11. It'll be charging home down the outside. Poison Chalice to finish Oaks Day off for me. Thank you everyone for watching my Oaks Day preview. It's going to be about a 3.5 unit spend. Hopefully we can make another profit again because it's enjoyable to do so. Cup Day and Derby Day were absolutely enormous. Hopefully Oaks Day can be even more enormous and it can flow nicely into what is setting up to be a brilliant Champions Day on Saturday. Thanks everyone again for watching, and until next video, bye for now.